Writer Thomas Cahill wrote a book entitled How the Irish Saved Civilisation, and this forms the basis of today's story.
St. Patrick's Day, a celebration of his life, a salute to Irishness across the world, a colourful scene, as colourful as the great tales of legends like Cuchulainn and Fionn McCool. But in reality, Ireland in the 5th century, at the time of St. Patrick, was a land of many gods, druids, sacrifice, clan warfare and slavery. Ireland, like Europe, was slipping into the Dark Ages. St. Patrick is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland, but it took several hundred years to convert the Irish to Christianity. There were others before him, such as Palladius, and many great men and women after him too, who worked to create what was called Ireland's Golden Age. But the monasteries did multiply, and by the year 600, Ireland had become the most monastic church in Christendom. Irish monasticism showed an imitation of Christ in humility, poverty and hardship, all which seemed to appeal to the Irish character. In a land where there were no towns or villages, monasteries, although small, became the first urban centres in Ireland, and visitors from all throughout Europe were welcome to come and learn at these centres of excellence that had yet to flourish in Europe. Besides the physical destruction of the Roman Empire, learning was also being lost. The new rulers of Europe saw little use of literacy, and the great works of the Greek and Roman writers were slowly being forgotten. This even extended to skills in art. Take, for example, simple art perspective, defined as a system for representing objects in three-dimensional space on the two-dimensional surface of a picture. Now compare it to examples of medieval art. It is almost childlike in perspective. Now, look at this clip from a visit to Pompeii in Italy. The picture clearly shows perspective. This was painted before Pompeii's destruction in 79 AD and shows us what was lost. The world would have to wait until the Renaissance for this skill to return to art. But art technique were not on the mind of the Irish monasteries. They began an almost singular mission to start copying all the ancient manuscripts they could get their hands on. Irish monks became specialized in translating Greek and Roman manuscripts in the universal language of the day, Latin. They recorded Ireland's historic events in books to give us records like the various annals, which still exist to this day. They even took the time to record the ancient tales of Ireland, which were technically from our pagan past, and delivered beautiful manuscripts like the Book of Kells. In a time, centuries before the printing press, Ireland's monasteries were studiously copying, becoming Europe's main publisher. Today, we are all too familiar with the concept of red martyrdom, the shedding of blood in the name of religion. But it was said that Ireland is unique in religious history for being the only land into which Christianity was introduced without significant bloodshed. Instead, the Irish monks brought two types of peaceful martyrdom. Green martyrdom was the practice of going out into the wilds of nature and being at one with God and his creation, be that with the landscape or the wildlife. And here, to live alone as a hermit. St. Kevin of Glendalough is given as an example of this. And Skellig Michael is almost an extreme example. To us it seems like a desolate place, but to the monks that lived here, perhaps to serve here, was a place of honour. Then there was white martyrdom, which was a practice of travelling into the white of the horizon in order to share the good news of Christ. This white could be the roaring Atlantic that St. Brendan the Navigator took, or St. Columbanus, as he set to cross the blinding white slopes of the Alps that had often defeated whole armies. All throughout Europe, Irish monks set forth to tell the world of Christianity. An Irish army that marched forward without warriors or weapons. No cities were conquered, no need for body counts. The books they carried were their only armour. In the end, the Irish barbarians, so called by Rome, had become the enlightened ones. And this, they say, is how Ireland saved civilization. Yet this Irish Empire would end by the 11th century, to be replaced by the command of the Catholic Church in Rome. This memorial was erected to remember Gearóid, an old school friend of mine. lost at sea, a sea that never gave him up. It is close to the monastery of Glendalough, in a new, modern hermitage. The sculptor was his brother Gearóid, who explained his art. It represents the labyrinth of life that we all must cross, a reminder that the dark ages can still come to us today. And centuries later, in places like this, the light of faith never fades. Thank you for watching, but please like and subscribe, as this will encourage future productions.